Hello guys, in this video lecture we will study about Hilbert adjoint operator corresponding to a bounded linear operator defined on a Hilbert space. Definition is written on your screen, you can see it, but there is, although it looks usual, familiar or something trivial, but it is not that trivial. We have a Hilbert space H1 and there is some inner product on H1, and we have another Hilbert space H2, on that we have some inner product, and we have a bounded linear operator T defined on H1 from H1 into H2. The corresponding adjoint operator T star is a mapping from H2 into H1, that it is a mapping from Hilbert space H2 into H1, which takes a vector here y and associates it a unit vector here T star y, but it is not explicitly defined as such, but it is defined through this relation which is written here, that is inner product of these two vectors, that is Tx with y, should be same as inner product of x with T star y. This should hold for all x and y in our Hilbert spaces H1 and H2. Then this T star is defined. In this lecture, we will study about this operator. We will show its existence, that it really exists, and we will show its unique, that corresponding to an operator T, we can only associate only one and only one operator known as T star, which is known as its adjoint. Also, you might have studied about adjoint matrices corresponding to a matrix in your courses in algebra in earlier classes. You might have studied corresponding to a linear matrix. You can associate to this matrix an adjoint. You can define adjoint of this matrix. Although that we did for the finite dimensional spaces, but here adjoint is defined on any Hilbert space which can be infinite dimensional as well. We will show how this relation exists or how this arises, this relation, and we will also show that this operator is unique. And in the next lecture we will construct or we will describe some examples how to define this operator properly corresponding to some linear operators, and we will study some of its properties, what are its fundamental properties. In this lecture we will only study about its existence and uniqueness. So let us first define a functional on our Hilbert space H1. We had a bounded linear operator from our Hilbert space H1 into another Hilbert space H2. This was our T. Let us first fix some element here y. Let us fix this here, and corresponding to this element let us define a functional here fy. This functional is defined corresponding to y, but it is defined on H1 into underlying field of H1. How it is defined? Let us define it simply by fy of x is simply defined by inner product of Tx with y. That is, we take a vector here x, and through mapping T we associate a vector, because T is already defined, T is given, we associate it a vector Tx here, and we simply take the inner product of these two elements, and this is defined in this way our functional is defined. We will show simply that our linear functional, we don't know yet that whether it is linear or not. We will show that it is linear and it is bounded. This functional fy defined on H1, it is linear, and we will also show that it is bounded. And remember that our y is fixed. This is a fixed element in Hilbert space H2. Linear, it is clear because our inner product is linear in the first variable, and also T is also a linear map. T is also linear map, and inner product is also linear. Therefore F is clearly linear. I will not show it, you can do it, although it is clear. Now we will show that this functional is a bounded functional. We will show it is bounded. That is, we will simply calculate its norm. We will simply calculate its mod, which is simply by definition inner product of Tx with y norm, which is by Cauchy-Schwarz, bounded by Cauchy-Schwarz. It is bounded by T norm of Tx, norm of y, which is bounded by simply norm of T, because T is bounded linear operator. Hence we have divided by norm of x, where x is non-zero vector. We simply take supremum over all non-zero vectors in our Hilbert space H1, x belonging to H1, which simply shows that norm of f is bounded by norm of T, norm of y. Since this y was fixed element, its norm is finite, and T is also a bounded linear operator, its norm is finite. Therefore this quantity is finite, which implies norm is bounded, norm is finite, and hence we have a bounded linear functional on Hilbert space H1. Let me show it here again. We have a Hilbert space H1, Hilbert space H2. We have a mapping T bounded linear operator, and we have a bounded linear functional Fy defined by norm of Tx comma y, and we showed that this is a bounded linear functional on Hilbert space H1. This is bounded linear functional on H1. Hence, by Rie's representation, you know the Rie's representation theorem for the bounded linear functionals on a Hilbert space. We had a fixed element here, y was our fixed. By Rie's representation, clearly corresponding to this functional, we have a unique element here. Let me denote this element by y star, such that Fy of x can be represented in terms of inner product of x with this y star. This is by Rie's representation. Rie's representation. Since this is also Fy, this is also Fy of x, hence these two quantities must be equal. That is, inner product of Txy should be same as inner product of x comma y star. Now our y was fixed. Let me show you again. This was our H1, this was our H2. Our y was fixed, and corresponding to this y we had a element here y star. Hence if we vary y over H2, we get a mapping. We will denote simply that by T star. If we vary our y over whole space H2, we will get, suppose we will fix another element here, we will get another element here, we will fix another element, we will get another element by Rie's representation theorem. Hence corresponding to every element we will get a unique element here, which defines a mapping from H2 into H1. That is, we have a mapping T star from H2 into H1, defined by, which simply takes a vector here and associates T star y in H1, but it should satisfy this relation, otherwise it will not hold. It should satisfy, each of the element in H2 should satisfy this relation x T star y. This relation should hold for each y in H2 and each x in H1. Hence we are mapping T star from H2 to H1. We don't know yet whether it is linear, bounded, what it is norm, we don't know yet, but we will show now that it is a linear mapping. Also it is bounded, and its norm is same as norm of T. Its norm is same as norm of T, because our T was a bounded linear map. It should have some norm. We will show T star is T star's norm is also same as T. First we will show that this is a linear mapping. That is, we have to take simply two vectors in our Hilbert space H2 and corresponding scalar multiplication. The condition you know for linearity, we will simply show that. Now let us show that T is linear. That is, we will show now T star is linear. So let us fix T star was our mapping from H2 to H1. Let us fix some elements y and z and alpha and beta underlying field. We will show that T star of alpha y plus beta z is simply alpha times T star y plus beta times T star z. Now you simply take this element, this vector alpha y plus beta z, it is also an element of Hilbert space H2. You will simply have x T star of alpha y plus beta z inner product, because this element should also satisfy our relation corresponding to T star, that is, it should be same as inner product of Tx with alpha y plus beta z. But by the property of the inner product that it is antilinear in the second variable, in this variable we can bring out alpha and beta but with the conjugated. That is, we can simply write inner product of Tx with the alpha y plus beta z is simply alpha bar of inner product of Tx with y plus beta bar, beta conjugate of Tx with z. This is by the property of the inner product. So until we got here Tx alpha y plus beta z inner product is same as alpha conjugate Tx with y plus beta Tx z which should be same as alpha bar of x. Now if we move this T here, it should get represented by T star by the defining property of T star, x with T star z. Hence we have inner product. Now we can bring this in, this alpha without its conjugate, because antilinear, it is antilinear in the second variable. This will simply get us to plus x beta T star z. Hence we have inner product of x plus beta T star z. Hence we have a corresponding equality. We have inner product of x T star of alpha y plus beta z is same as inner product of x with alpha T star y plus beta T star z. And since this holds for all x in our Hilbert space H1, which implies by the very property of the inner product that T star of alpha y plus beta z should be same as alpha times T star of y plus beta of T star of z, which implies clearly that T star is linear. Now we will show that T star is a bounded operator. First we showed that T star is linear. Now we will show that T star is also bounded. For that we will simply calculate its norm and show that it is finite. That is, we will simply calculate norm of T. We will show that it is finite. Further we will show its norm is exactly same as norm of T. So let us calculate the quantity norm of T star. So t star y, norm of t star y, which was same as norm of y star, because y star was the element, t star y was same as y star. And by Rees representation theorem for bounded linear functionals corresponding to the element y, we got an element y star in Hilbert space H1 whose norm was same as bounded linear functional fy, which was defined corresponding to y. This is by Rees representation theorem that its norm is simply same as norm of fy. This is by Rees representation theorem. And we also showed that norm of fy is simply less or equal to norm of t norm of y, and hence we can divide by norm of y, which is less or equal to norm of t, and we can take simply supremum over all non-zero vectors, which simply gives us t star norm is less or equal to norm of t, which clearly shows that t star is bounded. Hence we got that t star is simply bounded linear operator on H2. Now we will show that its norm is exactly norm of t, that is norm of t star is exactly norm of t. Firstly, let me show that this operator is unique. Then we will show that its norm is same as norm of t. First, let me show that this operator is unique. Suppose there is some another operator s. Suppose we already have t linear operator defined on Hilbert space H1 into H2, and corresponding to this we define t star. We showed the existence of t star from H2 into H1. Now we will show that this t star is unique. Suppose there is some another operator s from H2 into H1 with the same property, with the same required property, which was inner product of tx with the y should be same as inner product of x with the t star y, which must be same, which should also hold for s as well, that is x sy. Inner product of x t star y should be same as inner product of x with the sy. Hence we got inner product of x t star y minus sy is 0, which clearly shows that t star must be same as s. That is, we got x t star y minus sy should be 0, which implies that since this holds for all x, which implies that t star y should be sy for all y belonging to in H2. Hence t star must be same as s, which is clear. Hence t star is unique, that is corresponding to t we associate a operator t star. This is unique. We can't have another operator s such that this s gets associated to this bounded linear operator. This can't happen. This is uniquely defined. Hence now we will show its norm is exactly norm of t. For that we already showed one inequality, that is norm of t star was less or equal to norm of t. Now we will simply show that norm of t is greater or equal to t star. Now we will simply show that norm of t star is greater or equal to norm of t. We will show this inequality. Already we showed this first one. So let us prove this one. Let's take simply norm of t star, which is simply greater or equal to for some particular y in our Hilbert space H2, where y is some particular value, because this is the supremum over all y in Hilbert space H2. Therefore this inequality should hold, which is same as inner product of y star over y, which is same as by Rees representation theorem norm of fy over norm of y, which is same as supremum of, because norm of fy is defined as supremum of fy of x mod over norm y, where we can simply take y is non-zero and x is non-zero. Which by very definition is same as supremum of mod of, by definition this is same as txy, inner product of tx with y over norm y, where y is non-zero and x is non-zero. Here if we fix also y, if we take a particular value of y, this supremum must be also greater than that value. Let me rub it first and write this inequality until we got here t star y is greater or equal to supremum of mod of norm inner product of tx with the y over y, y is non-zero, x non-zero. If we simply replace y by tx, this inequality should still hold, that is it should be greater or equal to, because we are fixing a particular value and here we are taking supremum over all vectors, this should be greater or equal to supremum over, this was over, here it was also norm of x was also there, because it was the norm of f of y, we should divide by norm of x. It was also here, so we can simply write this as norm of tx by tx, tx norm of x, where x is non-zero vector and tx is also non-zero, which is clearly simply supremum of x non-zero. Norm inner product of tx with itself is simply norm tx square, which is simply supremum over tx square over tx norm of x, which I can simply write as tx over norm of x, which is simply norm of t. Hence we got this inequality, that is t star norm is greater or equal to norm of t, and already we got that t star norm is less or equal to t, hence norm of t star is same as norm of t. Hence we were able to show the existence and the uniqueness of an operator corresponding to linear operator defined on a Hilbert space H1 into H2. We were able to show a existence of another operator which we simply denoted by t star, satisfying this relation txy should be same as x with t star y. It is clear that t star, we don't know how to exactly construct this operator. We don't have an explicit relation for this operator like we have simply for a function like f of x equals x square. We know simply it square is the input, but here we don't have explicit relation what will be t star y, but we have this relation. This is the defining relation of this t star, but from this t star, from this relation we will able to exactly give the explicit relation for t star, which may be sometimes difficult, which may be sometimes easy. We will show in the next lecture some examples of it. Before that we will study some properties of t star. We will study some properties of t star, and also we will show how to define this operator or how to construct on a particular Hilbert space, how to give explicit formula for this t star. Until, thank you, and if you like my videos, kindly subscribe. and share it to your relevant friends. Thanks.